If your AI images aren't turning out the way that you imagined, the problem probably isn't the tool, it's the prompt. In this video, I'll show you a powerful 3-step formula that's going to help you generate some very powerful prompts to be able to get the most out of your AI image generation tools. It's how we go from vague outputs to consistently stunning visuals. And just so you know, this video is part of our AI image generation masterclass. So if you want to learn more, all of the resources and much more around learning how to get the most out of your AI image tools is in the community ready to go. By the end of this, you'll understand how to master the subject, style, and modifier structure for the input prompts that we're going to be using, how to craft them like a creative director, and confidently build those high quality outputs that we all want. And again, we're also going to be able to write our clear, repeatable prompts that consistently produce our best and strongest results. We're going to cover off what a prompt actually does, our 3-part prompt formula, the visual language of modifiers, the prompt structuring best practices, and deconstructing some of the great prompts. So, what a prompt actually does. As we mentioned in our previous module, prompts are not read like sentences, they're broken down into tokens. So your job is to speak with the model's visual language, not write a paragraph. And that's where our 3-part formula comes in. What we want to include is the subject, we want the style of the image, and then the modifiers at the end. So the subject, this is what's in the image, e.g. a woman, a sports car, a dashboard. We've got some examples there around on the left-hand side. We've got what Flux would produce. We've got what Ideogram would produce. We've got one around Google and doing a lion. And we've got some lights on the end. Again, what do we want included in this image that we're generating? The style. So what's the artistic lens or format that we want outputted? All of these images had exactly the same input prompt that we wanted to get the output from. But they all recognized it in slightly different ways and the styles that we wanted it to be produced in. So for example, there we go with Ideogram v3 quality. That was a bit more pixelated with the output that we got there. So again, try the different styles. We'll cover that in a bit more detail in a second to understand exactly the output that you're looking for. Also recommend keeping a cheat sheet of some of these different styles. I've got them in the resource hub as well that you'll be able to access. So make sure to check that out. Now, what's modifiers? Well, these are the visual details or enhancements that we're looking to add to our prompt to influence the outcome that we're getting. So, soft lighting, ultra detailed, 4K, isometric, bokeh, pastel tones, all of this sort of stuff to really influence how we want it. So, for example, on the right-hand side here, for that watch, purple, neon, we could have a simplistic product photo on the left-hand side there, really highlighting what we want that output to be as easily as possible. And that's where when we put our formula together, we're really clear on the subject that we want. We run through exactly the style that we're looking for and the modifiers that we want to enhance the images that we're going to generate. Now that we understand this at a high level, what's some of the lower level details? We're looking at the visual language of some modifiers. So think about some key terms that would work. 35mm lens, DSLR, studio lighting, shallow depth of field. Some of these will be easier and better with some models versus other ones out there, so try different ones and see what work best for you. 35mm lens may work for some. You may need to say a fisheye lens for some other ones. We'll be able to say the art style, so again, oil paintings, pixel art, flat vector, low poly. I'll include some more examples in the resource hub so that you can see exactly how it works. We can see our design descriptors. We're looking for UI, UX, minimal layout, responsive screen, a dashboard, a PowerPoint, whatever it may be, we can add it in there. The rendering details, some of the elements around the quality of the images that we want. Is it 4K? Is it ultra sharp? Photorealistic? Hyper details? We can then also look at the mood and colors. Neon glow, pastel, monochrome, cinematic lighting. And what do all of these things have in common? They're token-optimized phrases, sentences, words that we can use in our prompts to get the best output that we're looking for. And why is this important? Well, again, as we mentioned, we want to be keeping our prompts as clean as possible with comma-separated sentences to get that output. More isn't always better. Let's aim for the clarity in those keywords over the length. And then we also want to keep a track of all of our successful patterns. Maybe you've got a Google Sheets, maybe you've got a Word document, maybe you've got an Airtable that shows you what are the key phrases, sentences that work and get the outputs that you want, so that as you go through, or maybe you get AI to help you, so ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, to write you one of these prompts, it will be able to repeat those successes and help you get those outputs we're looking for. So before we go through and deconstruct some of the great prompts, let's go through and use some examples to see exactly how it works. So we're going to come out of here. We're going to come across, we're going to be able to use our Minimax image 1, our Black Forest 1.1 Pro Ultra. We're going to see Recraft V3. We're going to use our Google InGen 3, and we're going to use our Ideogram Quality V3 as well. So first things first, let's come to InGen 01. We're going to see that this has been run 203,000 times, and it's going to cost us 1p per image to generate. So very, very cheap. We're going to paste our prompt in there. Got the subject, futuristic male bounty hunter. We've got it in cybernetic armor, cyberpunk style, glowing neon, gritty mood, rain reflection, cinema. We've not put this in a sentence. We've used commas to really highlight the specific words, the specific outputs that we're looking for. We're going to keep the rest the same. Maybe we'll do 4 examples just so that you can see the difference. We've not given it a subject reference, and we'll be able to run this. What this will do is it will again go through and analyze our prompt for the keywords that we've used, and it's going to generate the output for us. So there we go. We've got our results back. So we can see here again, we've got that futuristic male, check. We've got cybernetic armor. Yep, I'd say so. We've got cyberpunk style. I think it does from some of the outbacks. Again, it could be a little bit better. We've got that glowing city neon background. It definitely has that. A very gritty, so focused mood. It's got the rain in there as well with the rain reflections. That's incredibly hard for AI to do. Great to see that that's going through, and is photorealistic. We've not paid a lot for these images. We're doing 1 cent per image that's come back. So we're compromising that quality slightly for the output that we're getting. We can come through, we can see different ones. That's not explicitly showing it's a male. It's trying to highlight that it's maybe more of a stance that it would be. We need to be clearer. Do we want the face open or the face closed? So again, how do we improve that prompt? We've got this one here that looks maybe a little bit more RoboCop type. Can go through and change all of the different prompts to include the elements we want. Okay, so now we're going to come across to Recraft. We're now stepping it up $0.04 per image, or around that 4 cents per image. This has been run 3.4 million times. We'll be able to come down here. We're going to change our prompt. We're saying that we want an enchanted forest. That subject doesn't always have to be a person, dog, animal. It can be something else as well. In this case, we've got a forest. We've highlighted that we want glowing mushrooms, misty air, fantasy concept art style, soft light beams. Really clear, really concise, really sharp on what we're asking it for. We'll be able to do run. This will take about 5 seconds to go and generate the image for us, and then it will be able to provide that response back. So as we can see here on the right hand side, it's come back with what looks like a pretty good image. Again, it looks almost like that Lord of the Rings, quite ethereal, sort of magical. It looks like it's a little bit funky for some of these points down here. We can go through and improve it as much as we want. So that's all good to go. So now let's come across to Google. We're going to see that we've got InGen 3. So again, not that latest VO2 model, but we've still got something that's incredibly good. We've got 872,000 times this has been run, and we've stepped it up by 1 cent. And now we're going to be charged 5 cents per image that comes back. We'll be able to change this. So now we're going to say we're looking for that subject to be a tiger, mid-raw. We want it ultra-realistic, photograph and wildlife style, eye contact, sharp teeth, golden hour lighting, clear critical parts. We're going to cover negative prompting a bit later on in the advanced section, but this is what we want to discourage the image from generating. So blurry, watermarks, bad quality, all of that sort of stuff is what we would add in the negative prompt. We'll be able to send this off, and it will be able to give us our image back incredibly quickly. So as we can see here, we've just got our image back, and I think that looks incredibly good. Again, we've paid 5 cents to be able to get this back. It could be really good for maybe a wildlife, photography brand that you have, or anything around maybe a wildlife cafe, anything like this. You'd be able to use an image like that. It looks very, very good. It's got that depth of field in the background being a little bit blurry, and it's incredibly good on the detail of that tiger that's going through. We'll be able to come back up. We're now going to come across to our Flux 1.1 Pro Ultra. We're now paying another cent more, so we're now at that 6 cents per image. It's been run 12.2 million times, and we're going to be able to go through and give it its new prompt. So again, we've given that clear subject to the humanoid alien. We've given it bioluminescent skin, forearms, sci-fi concept art, exploring a desert. So maybe this is more of your sort of Star Trek, Star Wars, something like that. Alien, you'd be able to use this sort of image. Again, maybe you're doing a series, you would turn this into a video. You could do stuff like this as well. We're going to keep the rest the same. We'll come down and do run, and then we'll wait for our image to come back, and we'll just compare again, slowly stepping up that price, how that quality is improving. So for reference, this is what we were paying for around that 1 cent an image that came back from Minimax. Or if we come back across to our Flux 1.1, it looks like we've got a lot more clarity on some of the rock stones. We've got that double presumed sun by the looks of it on, planet in the sky. It doesn't look photorealistic, but again, we'll be able to go through and add that. I think that looks incredibly good. What we'll just do is add photorealistic to the end, and we'll see what it comes back with, and see how those different models adapt to the different words, tokens that we use, so that we can see what influences the output. We didn't mention 4K for here, but we will be able to see the output. It looks like it's come back already. It doesn't look that realistic for some of it, so maybe we just need to say ultra realistic for a photo. We'll be able to send that off and see if maybe it responds better to that ultra realistic. And we can come down and we can change for it to be raw, whether it looks more natural looking, maybe that will help as well. So once this has gone through, we'll just see what it comes back with. Still looking a little bit funky, more of that alien design. I think that's probably because we've got this concept art style. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of this. What we don't want to do here is have conflicting prompts that are going to be in here. So now if I get rid of that, what we should be able to see is run. Again, we've turned on our raw. And because we've now got rid of that conflicting point around sci-fi art style, we should be able to see more of a ultra realistic photo that's going to be coming back. So there we go. I think that looks a lot more realistic already. Again, some of the deserts, again, the alien now looks very funky. We'll be able to go through and make the changes. And of course, being Flux, we've got this seed down the bottom. So if we wanted to copy and paste in there, we'll be able to make it much more realistic for that alien being able to be regenerated, maybe as a consistent character that we'd use. Now we're going to take a step up though. So again, with that 6 cents an image, we're now coming up to that 10 cents per image. For this Ideogram V3 quality, this has been run 30,000 times. They've got a few different ones, so you can see which one you prefer. So we're going to be asking for, again, that subject is that black hyper race car, with coastal highway, sunset, cinematic style, motion blur. Again, really clear instructions that we've given it. Come through and change any of these if we wanted to, reference images. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to do run. And then we're going to wait for this to come back. Again, Ideogram gives you the seed as well. So as we mentioned, we'll be able to reuse this to get maybe more repeatable images. Maybe if you're doing like a video campaign, anything like that. And we've got our output comes back. So again, we can compare how this looks all the way back to that Minimax. We'll see that here that this is incredibly good for some of this. If we copy and then come back and paste in here, we can compare them directly and see what would, again, that 10 cents per image cost versus that 1 cent per image, and see if it's worth paying, again, that 10 times the price for that quality that we're looking for. So as we can see here, we've got it to come back. Again, it looks pretty good. A lot more sharp clarity on some of the armor. Again, just see which you prefer, because again, we're going to cover later on in the course how to use upscalers and what that means for the images as well. So what makes a really great prompt? Well, we covered it quite a bit just in those examples. But we've got the example prompt here, futuristic product render, high gloss chrome, floating on a white surface. We didn't specify what that product was, so we could have probably improved that. We've got the reflection that we can see here, both from the object as well as the lights, which is very hard for AI to do. We've got a long corridor, which looks very futuristic. And then what we've also said is it's really clear subject, defined styles, and those crisp modifiers. If we come across to this example, we've said pixel art of a flying dragon, so we've given it that really clear subject. Over the medieval cities, giving it a bit more context. We've also given it the style around that pixel art. We've given it isometric, pastel colors. Again, those modifiers starting to be brought in. Something like that would be really good is maybe if you're doing like a storybook, you'll be able to produce that and have some visuals go with it incredibly cheaply. So that's how you master the subject, style, and modifiers approach to be able to get the outputs that you're looking for from AI. If you like what you saw, make sure to come across to our community. We've got lots of resources in here that show exactly how to do it, plus our full masterclass that covers everything from the basic of setting up Replicate all the way through to the landscape, advanced techniques, style mastery, consistency, quality. Plus, you'll get access to lots of resources like you can see on screen now that show lots of examples, styles, prompting, what you can do to get the best outputs possible from your AI image generator. So make sure to come across to the community. That's all for today. Stay tuned for more around AI agents, automation, and have a great day.